Hi everyone, Sandy here. Welcome to my channel. This is the tutorial on how to make a junk journal with the little golden books. The tutorial will be featuring the Alice in Wonderland and Country Craft Creations Tea in Wonderland paper collection. That's what I will show you in the tutorial. But I also have a showcase video walkthrough showing you the Tell a Peter Rabbit made exactly the same way, but it does not have a tutorial because it is made, this basic construction is made like the Alice one. So stay tuned for the tutorial of Alice in Wonderland. To make the little golden book junk journal in the style that I have made it, we're going to be doing the tutorial with the Alice in Wonderland and the Tea in Wonderland paper from Country Craft Creations. It'll be made exactly the same way as I made this one, except the laces and ribbons and flowers will be different. Different decorating elements will be different. So you will decorate with what you have in your stash, as I will pull out things from my stash. So this is the one that I did of Peter Rabbit. I have a separate video showcasing this one, but we're going to do the tutorial with this one, Alice in Wonderland. So I have my paper collection. I am not going to add in any cardstock or copy paper or tea-dyed paper. If you want tea-dyed paper in yours, that's optional. You can do that. The way I did it, it made it pretty thick and chunky with the elements that I added and the pockets and keeping the story. So I did not add any extra papers in except the pattern paper I have here. So let's get started with that. I will give you these measurements as I go, and we'll first start working on the book. So the first thing we need to do is to take the pages of our story out. And also, while we're doing that, I'm going to make me some labels because I want to make sure I keep the story intact. So I need page set 1 on a sticky note, page set 2. I'm running out of ink. Page set 3. Okay. So we've got those ready to go. Now, we're going to take this apart. There are 2 little staples in your little golden books. This is a new one that I purchased, and I kind of open it up to where I can try and find the center and kind of just pull up on it. We want to keep the pages intact. So I just kind of push my fingers in there in the center and just kind of keep pushing and pulling, and sometimes I take a tool and start prying up on it. It's going to come loose here in just a minute. Some of them are a little tighter than others. Okay, so what I've done is gone to the back page now and really pressed on that cover and got those staples out. These were really some tough ones. Okay, so you see the staples there, and I think I have a pair of pliers here somewhere that I like to use. There they are. Kind of straighten them up a little bit here, so maybe I can easily pull my pages up. This is what you want. You want to lift each set of pages up. Just up and over. There we go. And don't worry too much about the holes. You're not going to see those. So that's the back. So that's right there. And here's the front. Now I'm going to be separating these and labeling them in a minute. So there's that. Okay, so now we have our cover like this. But some people make their junk journals by keeping the gold spine, and that's fine. That's one way to do it. Right there would be the back of your spine, but I need a wider spine for my junk journals. So I'm going to make a wide spine, just like you do if you're doing an album cover. Okay, so we need to get rid of these staple guys so we don't hurt ourselves. So you can either cut them off or push them through. I think that I ended up pulling them through or cutting them off here. Just cut that off as best you can. Just be very careful with that metal. You don't want it to get in your eye. There we go. Got it pulled out. Do that in the trash. And it doesn't tear it up too terribly bad. I usually put some more glue on it to I'm going to cut off. Put glue on it where the holes are. Anyway, so that one I grab it and pull it out. Okay, there's the middle. Okay, this is going to be covered up, so don't worry about that. Okay, so now we have that. We're going to cut this in half. Just take my scissors, cut right down the center of that gold, because I am not going to be using that. And then I trim it now to make it even with the chipboard of the cover. So go ahead and get that trimmed. There we go. So now you're going to treat this just like you would if it were chipboard making an album cover, except that you don't have to wrap it, okay? So go ahead and trim right along the edge of the chipboard of the cover for the front and the back. So then we're going to set those aside, and we'll be adding our spine. So you do need one piece of heavy chipboard that you have cut to 8 inches by 2. This is what we're going to use to make our cover. And let's go ahead and get our pages ready. So we have the first set here. We're going to open this up. It comes in 2 sets. So you have it like that, okay? You're going to cut right down the middle. Keep your pages together. So I'm going to go off camera here to my trimmer, and I'm going to cut these down. Okay, when you cut these 2 sets in half, you're going to end up having 6.5 for each one. Okay, so I'm going to separate these into 3 sets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So there's 12, 4 pages for each set. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is page set 1. Make sure you put the labels on there so that you keep them straight. 1, 2, 3, 4. Page set 2. And should be 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Page set 3. Okay, so we have those divided up. We're going to go ahead and prep our pages before we make the cover. So take your scoreboard, and we're going to score and make sure they stay in order here. So I'm going to flip this page set 3 over and start from the back. Put this in so that the side with the staple holes is to the left. And we're going to score each one at 5/8. 5/8. and then go ahead and fold and burnish it. Just like that. So that's the back one. Make sure you keep them in order, okay? Stick them together here. Okay, so the whole side is here, and we're going to score at 5/8. Make sure that always the holes are to the left. There we go. Score on the side that has the holes. Fold and burnish. Oops, that one a little crooked there. There we go. So as long as you keep them in order and make sure that your score line is always on the left side where the staple holes are, your pages are going to be in order. And then fold and burnish. So I'm not going to do all these on camera. I'm going to show you real quick what I want you to do to get these page sets ready. So now you see I have page set 3 with them all scored on the left side and the flaps turning this way. So I'm going to put them all together and fold them back because we're going to glue them together. I know this seems a little strange, but this is how it's going to work. So from the back, you want your folds coming up like this. I'm going to move this scoreboard out of the way. So we've got it like this. We're going to flip it over. We're going to take our glue, and we're just going to do a thin line. You don't have to do it real heavy. Thin line of glue. And then fold this one into that one and burnish. Then another thin line of glue. This is just to hold them together. Doesn't have to be a real thick glue. The next page, fold into that. Now it may not be, try to keep them as even as you can on the edges here, but it may not be even here, and that's okay. You just want it even up here in the top. And then the last one, put your glue. And then we're going to line these pages up and fold it into that. So now what we have is we have this whole page set 3, pretty even at the top and the bottoms. And we have them all glued together here on the left, and that's what you want. So that's page set 3. So I'm going to do all the others exactly the same. Then we'll make the cover. So I have my 3 page sets glued together here where the score line is, where the flap is, so that it's folded under like this on all 3. So I have them all together as straight as I could get them. And again, like I said, more important for these to be straight as you can and not worry about these so much. So we've got the page sets, so they're ready. We're going to set those aside. So now we're going to work on our cover. So remember, we cut these apart like this so that they're now, they should be 6.5. Yep, 6.5. And we're going to make like an album cover. So we have a piece. Now, on mine, I did all my pages on this one here. I did them all together. I did them all before I did my cover. In other words, I folded all my papers together so that I could measure my thickness and knew that I wanted a 2-inch spine. Now, If you're wanting to add more papers in, more pages in, like your tea-dyed paper and things like that, you're going to have to do all your pages and folding for your junk journal, your pockets, and then put them together with a cover on the front and the back with no spine, and measure the size spine that you want. So if you want bigger than a 2-inch spine, you could do 2.5 or 3. Then you would change the width of your chipboard. But since I'm going to do it the same pages as I did in the Peter Rabbit album, I'm going to go with the 2-inch spine. So you cut a piece of chipboard. I cut mine 2 inches by 8. If you want it wider, you would do 2.5 by 8, 3 by 8, whatever. And then your cardstock, you want it to be 1 inch taller on the top and bottom. So this is 10 inches. And you want it 1 inch wider on the side. So this is 2, so I cut this at 4. So I have a 4 by 10. Now then, just like making an album, take your scoreboard and your 1-inch spacers, one at the top, one at the bottom. Take your chipboard piece, and we're going to glue this onto the cardstock. So put your adhesive on. You could use score tape sheets if you wanted to, or just the glue. I'm just using glue. Get some glue on there, and then put it in up against your spacers so that we have 1 inch all the way around. Okay. Flip this over and go ahead and burnish that. Now then, I'm going to fold each one on the ends by just folding it, and then also on the sides. Now we're not wrapping, we're just going to fold on each top and bottom end for this because we want the wings for attachment. Okay, so these are going to fold over right here. So I'm really burnishing that. And I put my glue on each end here along the edge of the chipboard. And fold it over and burnish it really well. And you're going to see some glue coming out. That's fine. And I'm going to clean that off. I always get too much glue. But I burnish it really tight. I want it burnished really, really well in there. So when that comes out, I'll take a wipe here, paper towel, and I'll wipe it off. So I want that burnished in there really good. So I did put too much glue in there. Clean that out. Okay, get that burnished on the top edges really tight. Okay, same on the side. Some glue along the chipboard right in here. That's where I've got too much in. Glue on the flap. Fold it over and burnish. You want to really burnish in there up against that, the chipboard. Nice and flat. So if glue comes out, we just have to clean it up. Same on this side. So I want that indentation right there. Okay. And I want it really flat here at the top. Now, if you want to angle cut, you can, but I found it was better for me to leave it straight on this. So next we're going to take this, and we folded it once. We're going to fold it back again on itself and burnish. I'm going to open it up. I'm going to really burnish up against that chipboard to get me a nice indentation on this finished side. Okay, so just like if we were doing an album cover, this is going to attach And see where this fold is? That's going to glue down in there. So I'm going to put glue about 1/8 of an inch from the fold line, and then the whole piece here, right here, all this to the edge. Then bring this in and line it up top and bottom, pushing that up into that groove, pressing down. So that's going to give support to where that natural bend was. Burnish both sides, just like that. It's all going to be covered with some lace or trim. Back side, we're going to do the same thing, about 1/8 of an inch from the fold line, and then glue on the rest of the flap. Make sure you're putting this on the same direction. So this one's upside down and this one's upside down. That's what you want. Line that up. Press down. Burnish. Okay. Make sure it's even top and bottom. And then burnish on the inside. Okay, so I'm going to let that dry for just a second before we start bending anything. And while I'm letting that dry, I'm going to go here where the staple holes were. You can see it. I'm going to make sure none of that gold is torn. And I'm just kind of rubbing it in a little bit, just where the holes are. Kind of make sure it doesn't tear, because that's the gold. If you see any loose places of your gold, then you're going to need to, glue it down. So flip it back over and let it dry, and we're going to get this other piece ready. So on the inside, I'm going to put this pink pattern, black, pink and black. This one is cut 4 3/4 wide by 8 tall, and then you also want score tape or an adhesive sheet that is 4 3/4 wide by 8. So I'm going to go ahead, put this on the back side, and I'll be right back. So I have my adhesive sheet or score tape sheet on the back of the pattern paper, and I'm going to line this up. If there's any sticking over, just fold it under the adhesive. Line it up. I'm going to turn it so I've got the top one towards me. Right along the edge. Center it so you get equal amounts on each side. Drop that down and burnish that on. The reason you want to use the adhesive sheet is so that there's no buckling in your spine area, because this is going to be exposed with just the pages on it on your elastic cord. So make sure it's burnished down really good. Okay. And I'm still letting that dry a little bit. Once it's dried, once you've got your sheet down, burnished good, then go ahead and slowly bring up the back cover, front cover, so that you can see where the bend is, and with the rounded part of your bone folder, just burnish into that right there. Same on this side here. Right into the fold. Be careful and don't poke through the paper. That's right there. So there we have, and I kind of bend it a little bit to make sure. And there we have our cover. Now I have a little bit of the glue that dried right there. I'm going to clean that up with my eraser. Just a little bit of glue right in there. Okay. So that looks pretty good. So there's that part. Now then, open it up. Here on the back, I cut a piece of cardstock, pattern paper cardstock, that is 6 1/4 wide by 8. And I'm just going to glue on that. I mean, if you want to leave it like this with all the little books, if you like that, that's fine. I just want to bring the pattern paper more into the cover. And also it kind of covers that little fold dent right there. So I'm going to glue this on. If you want to use score tape, you can, whichever you prefer. I'm just going to use glue on it and finish off the back. And I'm using the side with a little piece of floral on the bottom. Okay, so now we're going to line this up, make sure we're lining it up on the side and the bottom. And over that. Okay, burnish all the edges, wipe off any glue. Burnish that really well over that. So this pink kind of pulls the pink in that's here on this other side. And then we're going to put pattern paper here. So I cut a piece that is, I did 2 1/8 by the 8. The reason is I want to make sure I had enough to go side to side. When it's covered, closed. I think that's going to work. So I'm going to put my glue. I may trim just a hair off, just the tiniest bit. So maybe more closer to just 2 inches. So I went ahead and trimmed it down to 2 so it doesn't stick over a lot. But yeah, that works better. 2 inches by 8 inches. Now, if you want the floral piece, let's see how that looks. That's kind of pretty. It's different flowers than what's on the cover. I think I'm just going to go with just the black and white diamonds. Though the roses are pretty. Put my glue on. Okay, so we'll get this lined up. And burnish that on. Okay. Put that down and burnish. Clean up any glue that may have oozed out into the fold. Okay. There's that. Okay, so the cover's ready and we're ready to do some more work on some pages. For our pocket pages, which is what's going to be attached to these storybook pages, you need 3 pieces of 12 by 12. So go through your papers, whatever collection you're using, and pick out some that when you have it folded up, it's not upside down directional. Okay, so when I fold this up, my clocks are going to be, some are going to be a little upside down, some are sideways, some are the right way, and that's okay because I really like this stripe. This with the teapots, so when I fold it up, I just got the floral, the same as the cards. I got the diamond patterns. That's going to work. Okay, so for example, on this diamond one, we're going to score it in half at 6. So you put the top in here at the top when you're looking at it, the correct layout and direction, okay? Then we're going to turn it so that the top is to the right, and then we're going to score at 8. Okay? Now then, we're going to fold on the 8 so that it's like this, or whichever way you want. I want the blue. I'll fold it so that it's like that. There we go. So this is going to be the pocket side. Burnish that. And then you're going to fold backwards. Make sure they're lining up pretty good down here at the corner. And burnish. There we go. So there's your pocket. And there's that. Now we're not going to do any gluing yet because if you want to do stitching, we need to do that ahead of time on the sewing machine. So we're going to do each one of these the same. I'm going to put my teapot's in here at the top so I could see it's the correct direction. And I'm going to score at 6. I'm going to turn it to the left so that the top is on my left, and I'm scoring at 8. Fold that up because the pink's going to be my pocket. Then fold backwards on the 6-inch, line it up if needed right here, and burnish. And there's your pocket page, okay? Same with this one. We're going to put, now this is, I'm going to put this, so this is the top because I got this hat going this way. And I'm going to score at 6. Turn this one to the left and score at 8. Fold up the 8-inch score line. So we have the clocks and the stripes showing. And then fold backwards on that 6-inch line. Make sure everything is lining up. Here in the corner, go. And then burnish. Okay. So that is our pocket pages. And if you're going to do some sewing, now would be the time. I'm going to show you on one, and you will do all the rest on your own. So let me grab that really quick, a sewing machine, and we'll work on that. Okay, so stitching on your pages is optional. But if you're going to do it on these, especially these pocket pages, you don't want to do it when they're glued together and really thick. So I have my little craft sewing machine here. That's what it looks like. It's really small. It's only about 10 inches wide. And I have it set on zigzag. And I want to stitch the pockets. Now I want a stitching along the top edge. I didn't do this on my Peter Rabbit one. I didn't decide to stitch until after I'd already assembled. So if you want to stitch along the top edge, you would do that now. So I'm just starting on the edge. And I'm going to sew all along the top edge. It's just easier to sew through a one thickness of paper, especially this cotton Bristol linen. And I sew it all the way out to the end. Okay, and then it's up to you if you want to leave a lot of string hanging or you just want to cut it off short. So that's going to be up to you. Okay. And I noticed that I must have scored too tight right there because I've got a little tearing right there on my paper, but that's okay. So can you see the stitching there? I'm just doing the white like that. Okay. So now then, we're going to stitch, open it up, and I want to stitch on the 2 outer ends. So we'll do that. So I'm going to go ahead and do my stitching now off camera. I'm going to stitch the 2 outer ends, the 2 inside with it flat, and then I'm going to fold it and stitch the bottom. Okay, so I'll show you before I do that. So let me go ahead and do these others and I'll be right back. Okay, so what I've done is I stitched the top edge of the pocket, single thickness, folded it up, stitched through the bottom, double thickness with it folded up, stitched on the sides here. Here I could have done it double, but what I'm going to do is use glue right here. Show you. I did stitch it just on the single side of the pocket. You could stitch double, but you're not going to see this inside part. And then right here, I'm going to put glue on the edge. It's stitched a little bit. And let me make sure I can make you understand what I'm doing. Okay, so before I glued it, I stitched single along the edge. folded it up and stitch. You can stitch the whole side, both sides, and you don't have to glue it if you do that. Stitch all the way across the top single. And then once I had it folded up, I stitched double all the way across the bottom. I hope that makes sense. So now when it folds up, it's like this. So I have stitching except for right here on this edge, which I don't think my sewing machine will go through the 4 thicknesses here. I could try, but I don't know. Let me see. I'm going to stitch the top part, so wish me luck here. I'm going to bring this in a little closer to me. So what I'm doing now is stitching the fold of the page and then down into the pocket. So let's see how that does. There is no glue in it, so if there's no glue, it might be able to do it okay. Just take my time. Okay, so it did fine. Wasn't real sure there. Push this out of the way so you can see what I'm doing. So now then, I have everything stitched. I have the single thickness here at the top. This is stitched together. This creates a pocket here and a pocket here. It's stitched on the bottom. This is not stitched, but you don't want to glue it until you put your pages in. So I'm going to take my page set 1 and I'm going to insert. You insert this 1/2 inch or 5/8 inch tab inside, and you're going to glue your page in between. So I'm going to put glue on both sides, just on the tab part. Right here, flip it over just on that tab part that's sticking out. Then you take this and you carefully open it up, and on this one side only, put your page in, line it up, and then drop it down so that it glues to the back side as well. So it's like this. So then we burnish that. Find my bone folder. So what we've done is we've put this whole set of the story, page set 1, in between the pockets. So I have a pocket here and a pocket here. Okay? Now then, I can open this up down here and glue this bottom shut. You don't have to, but I did on mine. Just go ahead and glue that shut on the bottom. So if you wanted to put something in this page up here, you could. So that's how you do each page set. If you don't like the threads, you would, tie them off or whatever, but I just cut mine short and I leave them like that. Fine with that. Kind of gives it that junky stitching look. So that's how you stitch the pages. So you do all 3 sets that way and then assemble them like that. Okay? So I'm going to do the rest of mine, and then we'll come back and show you the rest of the pages that we make to go inside the book. So I'm stitching on my second one, and I just wanted to show you right quick what I did is I stitched the bottom single, folded up, stitched the bottom double, stitched the top single, and then since this is folded up, I stitched the sides single up here and then all the way across the double. So that sealed the pocket up. So the pocket is sealed on both ends. So now when I fold it in half like this, I'll leave this open for my insert on my page. This one I can go ahead and stitch. So I'm going to do that, and then I'll go ahead and finish all of these and show them all together that are all 3 finished. I also wanted to show you, I figured out a bit simpler way to glue this in. So I've already put glue on the tab of the pages here and attached it to this side right here, the front side of the pocket. Make sure it's lined up, then fold this back in. So now we have it attached, and this has not been glued yet. So then take your glue and put it on just the tabby of the pages, okay? And then along the bottom edge of the page, or the pocket page, and put a good amount of glue if you're stitching, because you've got to make sure you got glue in there. And then attach this down and really burnish. You're going to have some coming out, so that's okay. So just burnish right along the bottom, and then burnish the sides of the page in like that. And now I have this page set attached to the pocket page. So here's all the story pages. And be careful with your glue. I'm going to go back and check on mine, make sure none of my pages are glued together. So there's all your pages of the story. Then you have your pocket here and your pocket here, and I have all my stitching done on all the edges. So when you're doing stitching, you just have to plan so that you're doing your stitching before you've added any glue or glued anything down, so you don't have a whole lot of thickness on your page that you're stitching on. Next, go through your papers and pick out 6 12 by 12 sheets. These are going to be our extra pages. So I picked out this one with the dress, another with the stripe and the hat, this one with the rabbit, this one here, this, and this one. Now we're going to cut these down to be 12 wide by 8 tall. So you cut so that you get the image that you want and save your cutoffs. So I'm going to go ahead and cut mine right quick. So I have my 6 pieces that are 12 wide by 8 tall, and I'm going to score each one on the 12-inch side at 6 inches. And this is going to, then we fold that in half, and this is going to make a page just like that. So do that on all of them. Super, super easy. Okay, so there we have 6 pages. So that means we have 2 for each page set. Okay, now then you're going to pick 3 of these. So which do I want? This is a hard decision. I think I want that one. They're all so cute. Let's try that one and this one. Save these. We'll use these probably for something else also. So all of these on the 12-inch side, you just simply score at 6. Okay, so you have 3 of your little short pages that you can make into a pocket or leave as little short pages. So I think I would do 2 as pockets, and be careful, don't score too terribly tight on this. This one I kind of did. I think it's going to be okay. All right. So now we have those, and we're ready to put them in our page sets. So we take page set 1. We're going to open it up like this, and I'm going to take a set of pages, or 2 of them, I mean, and I'm going to put them together like this. And so it lays in here. Open this up on the center here. Let's put one of these right like that for now. Now then, when you look at this, it's going to stick out a little bit. We will do some trimming. I'm just getting them in the book together. So you open this. We'll take 2 of these, whichever way you want to put them in. It doesn't matter which way. They're all so stinking cute. I'm going to put this one here like that. Fold that in, and I will show them, which pages, what order I did later on. So this one I think I'm going to put inside, and some of them may move around just because. Okay, so now we have them all in like that, and once I have them in and I'm going to look at them, I am going to decide to trim them down just a little bit, because when they're on the inside like that, it causes it to kind of stick out some. So look them over and see how much trimming you need to do, and go ahead and do that. Okay, so I've got all of mine trimmed. I took them all to my trimmer and I stuck them in the book to see how much. I ended up trimming off about 1/8 of an inch to 1/4 of an inch on some of these. So just, trim them off, and then I rearranged them some inside my book the patterns that I wanted in here. Anyway, at this point, before we put our elastic on our cover and insert these into our pages, I'm going to go over a little bit if you're wanting to do some stitching. Like this one, particular one here, I will turn into a pocket. And I just have to decide, do I want this out or this? I really like the cards, so I'll probably do that. Anyway, you cannot assemble the pocket until you have put the pages in the book. So don't stitch them closed, but I do want them stitched. So I open them up and I will stitch on both ends across, all the way across the bottom, all the way across the top, and then twice here on each side of the fold. And then when I fold it, it will be stitched all the way around on all of it. That's if you want to do that. So let me show you on one, and I'm going to make 2 of these into a pocket, but I'm going to stitch them all 3 the same. So like I said, we open it up, and it doesn't matter which side really, but I'm going to start here on the far right side, line this up, and I'm just going to start doing a zigzag. And I'm going to speed the camera up so it's not so boring, and go ahead and get that done. Okay, so I've got all the stitching done on the pocket. Just trimming some of my thread. So with it flat like this, you're going to see the stitching goes all the way across the top, down the side, and I don't care if it's not straight, and then on each side of the fold, so when it's folded, I have stitching all the way on all 4 corners. So that will make the pocket. That's how you do the stitching on that. So I'm going to be doing the other 2 off camera. Then you go through your pages. If you don't want to do stitching, you don't have to do stitching. That's just optional. So I'm going to go ahead and sew up the rest of them, and then I'll be back. I've stitched on all 3 of my little short pages, and then I decided to take this particular big page. Don't know if you can see it, but I stitched all around the different images into some kind of random pattern just to give it texture like that. It just makes it look a little different. I'll show you on one how to do that. If that's something you want to do, that's totally optional, of course. You don't have to do that. So let me grab another page. Let's look at some in this one. So there's that one. See what we got. Let's do it on this one. So I'll bring my little machine in, make sure I have thread pulled out, and I'm going to start here at the top, and I'm just going to kind of stitch along. It doesn't have to be in line. I can make it swirly. I can go around over here to the pattern, and I'm just going to kind of go around it with it. Doesn't have to be perfect, you know. There's the rabbit. And I'm going to bring it on over up the center spine. Now I have to roll my paper lightly, just a little bit, to get it in there. And then I'm coming back up here to the top. Then I'm going to join it, and then I'm going to turn. Bring it back across this other way. And then I'm going to follow this pattern, kind of. You just roll that paper because you don't want to fold it. And I'm going to stop right there. And I'm going to pull my thread up because I need to go the other direction, I think. I'm going to cut that off right there. So just have fun with it. So I've stitched here. I'm going to start up here at the top, kind of, right in here, and finish up this other side. And coming down to the inside of the fold. I hope you can hear me over the sewing machine. And then here I'm at the pattern. So I just kind of in with the design of the flowers and stuff. Yeah, there we go, and done. Okay, so that's that one. Just pull that thread out and cut it off as short as you want. And then down here. Okay, let me show you. So you see, it just kind of goes in here and around, right in through here. Just, oops, upside down. Just, around the rabbit a little bit. Kind of like, I would think, Alice, following the weird trail. I just think that makes it really neat. So you can do that on all your pattern paper pages if you want to, or just one in each set like I'm probably going to do. I'm going to put that one back in right there. I think it looks really cool like that. So there you go. Just some stitching adding in that you might want to do. So I'm going to go ahead and do one in this one, and then we will do the cord on our spine. I finished stitching on my pages, and you know what I did? I went ahead and stitched on all of the pattern papers pages because I thought it just looked really neat, like Alice is everybody are going around crazy. So I stitched on all of them. I know some of you can't see them unless you look really close, and I've got thread everywhere here. But anyway, I have stitched on them all. Not the story pages, just the pattern paper pages. And then I'm going to use black 1 millimeter elastic cord to make 3 cord lines for the pages. So I'm just going to take the first one here. They will move around on you until you get them secured in there. So I take about, I don't know, 20 inches or so, and I'm just going to wrap it through and bring it to the inside, and I'm going to tie it together, and I'm going to pull it pretty tight, stretch it, because I don't want it real loose, but I want it to hold the pages in. So I just kind of pull and put my finger on there and tie a couple of knots in each one. So I'm just going to tie my first knot right there, and then another knot to secure it really good. The elastic stays secured, and then I just cut it off about like that. So you see we've got it pretty taut in there to hold the page down. Excuse me. So I'm going to do 2 more. So now we have the 3 in for the books. And because we label this, we will have our story in order. So we take page set 1, and you're going to open it up to the center. So you can see this little short one here. And then the first one, you're just going to lift your elastic up, slide all your pages in until the elastic is over the center fold, just like that. It's page set 2. Bring them in and close it up. Go ahead and get those off. And then we're going to take this and arrange it on the outside, make sure our elastic is where we want it. So you see it moves. So we're going to bring this one in, make sure it's staying over the end. And this one here kind of wanted to drop down into that space there. So now we have them all 3 like that. And I'll show you what I did with this other one. Is I did take it and tie it with string. You can use more elastic, but I'm going to be tying it with string here in a bit, right in here to bring them all together like that. Okay, so now we have this. I'm going to show you the pockets here on the inside. So this one's going to be a pocket. You can put it in the center, towards the bottom, and you open it up, and you're going to take your glue. I'm going to have to use quite a bit on this because of the stitching. So I put glue right along, whoop, up there, right along the bottom here and the side like this. And then we're going to keep this string in the center where the fold is, and then we fold it up, line it up, and burnish. I just use my fingers kind of to press it all together and make sure it's sticking down. If you want to use some clips, you can do that. And just kind of keep going along, pressing it in. And then this will make a pocket right here for tags and such. So we got that. Now this center one here, I'm going to leave it just as a page, I think. You know, I think I'm going to make it a pocket too. I like it as a pocket. So I'm going to have 3 little short pockets in this one compared to what I had in my Peter Rabbit one. So this one I'm going to fold, bring it down some, fold over, and press this in and make the pocket. So there's those pockets. So the next thing I'm ready to do is to tie string on here and add a couple of charms. So I'm trying to decide, this green color works with the grass, but then we have the black. So I think I'm going with black, and I'm using the jute string. Cut off a good amount of that. And I've got my elastics kind of centered, spaced out, and then I'm going to thread this, see if I can show you, underneath all 3. Kind of here at the top. Open this up. There we go. And then it's kind of weird on the camera, but tie a knot, bring in the 3 elastic lines together right down in there. See, like a little V there? And then I'm going to tie a knot. Do a couple of them. So that kind of secures them there in their position, and it makes it decorative looking. Okay. Now then, I'm going to add some charms. Now, I do have teacups, which I think it's really cute. That's appropriate for that. I don't have a cat. I wanted a Cheshire cat, and I dug through all my charms, and I didn't have anything. Now, I have this cute little flower. I think that's cute, but I may put that somewhere else in the book. And I had the moon. That's kind of weird. A moon. I don't think there's one in the story, but, you know, there could be. I'm going to use it for now. Then once I get somewhere and maybe find a cat that I like, a yellow tabby cat or something, then I will use that. Or I could put 2, have enough to do 2 teacups. So I put it on the string and put it to where I kind of want it, like about right there. And then I tie a knot. To keep my charm in place where I want it. Right there. And I'm going to make sure and tie a couple of knots, because it will work its way undone. So actually I'm going to do 3 knots, and then I'm going to take a little bit of glue, and I'm going to go ahead and cut this off right there, and then I'm going to take a little bit of my art glitter glue, and I'm just going to put some on this knot. Just kind of secure it, kind of rub it in, and that will help me pull it really tight. Now then, I'm okay with this fraying out here, so I kind of try to twist it, maybe get the ends to kind of fray. This one is staying tight. So it may not want to fray much. So we're just going to cut it kind of short. Right there. All right, then I'm going to tie the moon on. So I do it the same way. I'm going to lay the teacup here. Maybe make it a little bit shorter, make it higher up. And thread that through. I have to trim the ends off a little bit. It won't go through. Now then, I have a jump ring on here, but I'm afraid that might come loose. So I'm going to, give me a second to take that jump ring off. Okay. Jump rings have that split, you know, and string can work through it. So if I can work directly into the charm where it's solid, that's better. So that's what I've done on this one. I'm going to bring the moon up just a little bit, tie it in 2 or 3 knots as well. Okay, so it hangs up just a little bit above the teacup. So if you wanted more charms, you certainly can add as many as you want. You just have to tie on more string. Okay, so there's that one. Clip that off and secure with a little bit of glue in the knot. Okay, and just kind of rub that in. And there's those. So I'm not going to add my ribbon and trims yet. I'm a little undecided yet on that. I have pulled out a bunch of stuff here that I'm wanting to use on the front, or may use on the front and throughout the book. But first I want to show you how to make some of the pocket elements. So let's flip through. We'll do that in a bit. That is a snippet or a cluster. So turn to your pages. So that's pocket we've already done, and we just need to decorate. This is a pocket built in. I think I only did a couple of different pockets. So that one you need to decorate. It's built in. Okay, this one here is a different kind of pocket for this. So I'm going to show you how to make this particular one. So I need to pick out my paper and then we'll do that. Okay, so I cut mine and did some folding to see to make sure I'm telling you the right way, because they always end up going different ways. So you start out with a piece of paper that is 8.5 by 11. So yeah, 8.5. Is that what I cut? I can't remember, and I've lost my rulers. How can you, there it is. How can you lose 2 rulers on one work table? It's beyond me. Yeah, 8.5. So I cut it 8.5 tall with the pattern and 11 wide. Okay. Now then, this is going to be our front side. Well, in our logical thinking here. So I turned this one with this wording this away. Okay. Then you fold it in half and just match the edges the best you can and burnish. Fold it in half that way to get a line. Open it back up. Fold it up and burnish. Then open it back up. And I notice here that I cut crooked, so let me trim that up. Okay. Then with it like this. Now I did it backwards from this one. It's okay. It's just going to open on the other side instead of the left, which is probably better anyway. So you're going to fold this right top corner, get some room here, down, about 1/4 of an inch from this line here. So you want this parallel to your score line and burnish that like that. And then this one you're going to fold in, but leave it about 1 inch to 1.25 inches from the fold line and burnish. So now it looks like this, right? And then on this short side here, we're going to cut along the fold line. That's where I had cut a little bit crooked. So I was trying to clean that up. And all that can be fixed. So now that we've got it like that, we're going to fold this in. Fold that one, I think. Whoops, nope, fold. I fold that one in. This is where I get all mixed up. Fold this. So you've got it like this. Okay. Fold the small one in like that. That makes a pocket. Fold the big one down. That makes a pocket. Fold this back one up, and that makes this pocket. So like I said, this one I've got it opening this way instead of this way, which it doesn't really matter. I think this one's better, and I made this one a little bit bigger than this one. So we have that, and I love that with the flowers there like this, and this just will glue straight down on your page, or you can use it inside a pocket. Then when you're looking at it, look at it and see if you have any of it that's kind of not lined up right. I just trim a little bit here, like that. See here at the top when it folded in, just make it look a little better. And that single one there, I'm just going to trim some of it off. Okay, now I have it that way. Now, I assembled this one in the Peter Rabbit one without doing any stitching. So if you want to do stitching on it, you're going to have to do it before you fold it all up. And so I really have to think about that a bit, because let's see, we're going to stitch there. You don't have to stitch on this bottom one, but you do stitch on your folded edges here and here, and we stitch on that one. So let me get the sewing machine and see if I can accomplish this or not. So get my little sewing machine up, and where's my plug? It is electric. It can also be battery, but I've just used electric because, you know, it costs money to buy batteries. Okay, so I need to make sure I'm doing this right. So this flap, no stitching on it. So this one here, we need stitching on this corner and this. So I'm going to start up here. Okay, we'll do the top side and the one side. Okay, trim the strings off. Whoops. All right, so that's that part. Let's see if I can show you here. Sewing machine's in the way. So I stitched here and here. That's that inside part. And this folds up with this folded under. So like this right here, the fold, I'm going to sew on that. I think that will be covered up. Yeah, just on the fold. So that keeps you from having to glue that one. If you're not going to sew, you would glue that fold down. Okay, take a look at it again. So bring that one up. Okay, this one's going to come in. It's going to be like that. Okay. Now then, we do this other fold also. I bet I'm confusing the heck out of you. It's okay, I get confused too. So both folds get stitched or glued down. Okay. Okay, now let's take another look at it. And that folds in. This one goes up. This one comes over. So we have it stitched back there. We have it stitched right here. I didn't stitch along that top edge right there. So I think I probably want that stitched. And then for sure, this corner here and this side here. Okay, so we got it folded up the way it's supposed to be. I'm going to stitch from here out. From the fold that goes towards the back all the way up to the top. Excuse me. I'm going to stop at the top with the needle still in, and I'm going to turn that, and I'm going to stitch. No, I'm not. I should have already done that. I'm going to leave that one alone. I should have stitched that before stitching the side, but that's okay. It doesn't show that much. See, I should have stitched this piece here before I stitched the side down. Now I'm going to open it up. And I'm going to stitch these two together right here on the side. Just play with it. Once you get it folded up, you can probably kind of see what you need to do. And I'm going to stop at the bottom fold, turn it, and I'm going to stitch on that bottom fold. I'll show you just a second here. Okay. Threads. So I stitched these two together right here where it wasn't stitched. Then I stitched the bottom single because this is going to fold up. Then we have it looking like that. So most of it is stitched, except where I kind of goofed right there and didn't stitch that. But I still like it. Now then, we have a pocket here. It's already closed up, and a pocket here. And we can make a pocket here on the side if you want. Peter Rabbit, see here, I did not, I don't think. Where is that one? I put them in the book, and then I can't remember where I put them. There it is. Yeah, I did not make it a pocket. I just left it solid. So it's just a pocket from the top. So we're going to go ahead and glue this all together. But you can make this a pocket up here. So glue on the left side and the right side. And just seal that up. And then it becomes a pocket right in here at the top, here, and here. So that becomes a triple pocket for your book. And then we'll just take our Alice book, and you can put it wherever you want. It doesn't, I think I put it in the center one, I don't know. Just wherever you think it will look good, whatever papers you got. Let's see, that's going to be a pocket. That's kind of pretty right there. It's got all the pinks. That's where I'm going to put mine. And so you just glue it down solid because you've already got that one main pocket. So I just put glue on it and pop it down into my book, kind of center it where I want it. And it's going to be ready for tags. So that's a real easy pocket to do. Clean up any excess glue. Okay. Did we not seal that one down? Let's put a little glue there where I probably should have stitched it, maybe. Was that where I should have stitched it? But anyway, anywhere you see a place that you want to make sure it stays down for a pocket. Okay. I like that. It's going to be pretty when I add the lace and stuff. So there's that pocket. So the next one is a matchbook pocket. Let's see where I put that one. There. So it has this little flap like that. You see there? And then it just holds itself down. And I did stitch this one all the way around. So maybe I can figure out again. So that's going to be made out of one of your leftover pieces. I trimmed it down some. We've got the cupcakes. Or this one. I think this one, the cupcakes, are kind of going sideways. So it's going to be like that. Or you can recut another piece of paper. This one here again would be good, which is the same paper again. You know what? I have a big piece of the cupcakes with them going the right direction. So I'm going to recut this one. I'll give you the measurements in just a second. Okay, so 3.5 wide by 11 3/4 tall. 3.5 wide by 11 3/4 tall. Take your scoreboard. We're going to look at this. So this is going to be the inside, I think. So you want to make sure that you've got it so that when it folds down, your images look correct. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. And when it folds up that way. Okay. So upside down like this. This is the bottom edge over here. So we'll put this over here. And I'm going to score at, look at my pocket again. I think it was 1 1/4. Let's see. Ruler. You can really make it any size you want. So 1 1/2. So 1 1/2 there. Fold into it, and then that's going to fold again. And so then again at 3, I believe. Okay, let's see. So what you do is you fold the 1 1/2, and then you fold it again, and it makes it double thickness like that. And then burnish it. So score it at 1 1/2 and 3. Burnish that up. Burnish that up. So that's going to make where you tuck it in, and then don't score this top part. You're going to just kind of ease it in right there at the top. See where it fits. And then you're going to press it down and burnish. Okay. And then I rounded these 2 bottom corners with the 1/4 inch rounder. Here and here. Oops. Get this straight. There we go. Okay. So I'm not gluing because I'm going to be stitching. So let's get the machine. If you're going to be gluing, you will fold this and glue here on the ends, but don't glue all the way up. You want to leave about 1/8 of an inch. So this will have a freedom to take. If you glue it all the way, it won't tuck in. So you're going to have to leave about 1/8 of an inch. Okay. Let me get my sewing machine. So that's where your gluing would be if you're not going to sew. So I've got it folded like this. And I want to make sure I don't sew all the way. So when it's folded, let me start all over to make sense. So we got it like this. So this is going to be the top edge when it's folded. So make 1 fold. If you're sewing, make 1 fold and stitch along that fold to finish that off. So I'm going to do that. And I'll show you. thread off. Okay, so now we have it. We have the folded, and we have the stitched, and then we have the second fold. It's going to fold up like that, okay? Now then, we're going to sew the ends here, the bottom, and this end. But we're not going to go into this part yet because, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to sew this part first. So I'm going to start over here. I want the long edges sewn. So I'm just going to start sewing the long side, not the folded side. Or do I want that folded? No, not yet. Okay, just start right here where the fold starts. Start right there. And on the long side, so I'm going to stitch that. Stop before you get to that folding piece. Let's fold it up. Okay, almost didn't stop in time. Okay, so I've got it stitched from here up and around and down. There's that fold. I left it free. Now it folded up, okay, and we're going to stitch this side here, but we're going to stitch from the stitching, so it will leave about 1/8 of an inch free at the top. So we don't cross our stitching that we've already done. We're just going to start there. Stop at the corner. Turn it, sew the bottom. Oh, yep, broke my thread. So let me rethread. Okay, so I think I'm back in business here. So sewing along the bottom. Stop at the corner. Turn, and then I'm going to sew to the stitching that I did at the top of the fold. Okay. So I think I have this whole pocket stitched. You look at it. So there it is. It's all stitched. This is all stitched except for right along here, which I'm going to stitch there. Forgot that. That's on this flap on the front side of just the flap, not on the fold. So kind of look at that and make sure you're not sewing the fold. Okay. Now, so see the stitching? It's across below the fold, down the side, around the bottom. The whole side of this flap is, and then this will tuck in because it's not sewed all the way down. So that is a matchbox or matchbook pocket. So that's going to go in the book too. Let me clean up my thread here. Okay. And let's find a place for it in Alice that we might like. Those. They're too busy. What do y'all think? Let's see. There's that one. I guess we could put it in here. I'm doing it in a different place than I did in the other book. So you can put it wherever you feel like it needs to go. I like that. I'm going to put it right there. Okay, so you just put glue on the back side. Of course, we're just putting it in and we're not decorating it yet. Okay, just get it as straight as you can on the sides and then burnish it in. Easy peasy. So that's really all the technical assembly part that I did to the book. Everything else is just the decorating. I guess I could show you how I did do a what's called a cluster here on the front. And pretty much the decorating, it takes up a lot of the time on the video. Everybody decorates differently. It's not really something that you need to do. I will show you when when there's something that needs extra detail. Let me see what I've got in my papers. This right here, I did a cluster using some lace and some paper and just some flowers. It's really not a lot of detail to that. I just need to pull out what I'm going to do. So it's probably easier to show you after I've done it because I have to go through so much stuff, and what you have is different. So to do a cluster, you would just take a bit of whatever lace you want to use, like that would work. Piece of lace, I would glue that down on there. I'm going to show you this one. Then I find a cut apart that I want, or an image, glue that on top, maybe some other little image punched out in a circle, and then a cluster of flowers with a pearl-like button here, and add in a little bit of the twine bow. See that right there? So that's really all I'm probably going to do right there. This is going to be cut out. I will show you that. I'll go ahead and do that next so that we have that on the video. And then it's just a matter of wrapping the ribbon around. And so I'll do that. We'll do the front cover, and then the rest of the decorating, I'm going to leave that up to you. And if you want to add pattern paper in here, we'll do that. I'll add some pattern paper to show you what I did there. So let me get all that together, move this out of the way, and we'll get to work on the cover, and then we'll finish the tutorial and you'll do the decorating on your own. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to add this ribbon piece here. Like I have on Peter Rabbit, we're going to add the ribbon piece on. And at first I looked through my stash and I didn't have any white ribbon, and I was like, I don't want to have to go buy anything. And then finally I found this wide white with kind of a gold shimmer in it, and I thought, that's going to be perfect. And I wanted blue, but I couldn't find that blue, so I found this kind of teal color that kind of looks like in that tree. I think that might work. So I just kind of audition stuff. I don't have any rhyme or reason for things. So I'm going to put these two together, a good length of it, open up my cover, and I'm going to place it right here on the side, bring it around, and don't fret, we're not going to tie a bow, we're just going to tie, or try to tie a knot, but I'm using double ribbon on this one to get the color in here that I wanted, that I didn't do on the other one. So just try to keep them laying together and flat. And about, the center or off center, it doesn't really matter. Just pull it really tight and tie a knot. Both tails, bring that through and tie really as tight as you can, knot. Wrapping that around, and then reposition it where you want it. Bringing it more over towards the side here. Kind of have to get forceful sometimes. Okay, I pulled it really tight. Let's see, bring it in. There we go. Inside here. Okay, there. Kind of like that better. So now we have it like that. And we're going to cut it off. So I'm going to do the dovetail. So where you fold it in half, and you've got your fold, you do an angle towards your fold. Just be careful and don't cut yourself. Ask me how I know. Done that. And I kind of leave it, kind of cut it short, not super short, but you know, couple of inches maybe, so I can pull it around. Do the same way on this one. Save all that other ribbon you're cutting off because we'll use those. I'll use those in tags. Now you won't see me doing it, but almost cut that wrong way. And go into the fold. There we go. Okay, and then got the blue here. Bring that in. Okay, and do the same. Fold it in half. Okay, there we go. And this piece. I'm really happy that I found the white that I wanted. Okay. Okay, so there we have that like that. Of course, I add in other stuff, but that's the beginning there of how to really decorate it up and get it looking the way we want it. So now I'll be adding in some lace and stuff, and I'm going to go cut. I'm going to use gold metallic paper again, and I have the Tim Holtz gold. I'm going to cut the circle with a graphic 45 clock, the frame die for that. So I'm going to go do that right quick, and we'll glue that on where we want it here on the cover. Okay, so this is the die, graphic 45 die that I used. But on this metal, I have not been able to get it to punch everything out. So it embosses part of it it punches out, and I'm okay with that. It did the same thing on the Peter Rabbit. This piece here is going to pop out, I think. I ran it through like 4 or 5 times. I had a shim and everything. It just, I think it may be the paper, but like I said, I'm okay with it not punching completely out. I mean, it did it the 2 opposite sides, just like on the Peter Rabbit one. And I think that's fine. That one punched out. Let's see what pieces can will come out, because I just think it gives it that real pretty embossed look too. So I'm okay with that. See, like all of it didn't punch out. I'm gonna just leave it that way. Okay, I like that. So what I did is I kind of position it like this. So you've got the airy part here and then like that. And I'm just going to glue it, and I'm going to glue so that it is, turn it so it's, okay. Got Alice and part of the Cheshire Cat and the Queen of Hearts. Or no, that's not the Queen of Hearts. That's the card guys. What are they called? Anyway, I'm going to glue it on there. So I use my art glitter glue and get a good amount on these solid sections that didn't cut all the way through. And then as much as I can of the other parts, especially along the edges. I'm going to get glue on those guys. Real intricate, delicate parts, because I don't want them sticking up a lot. And then we're going to just position it like that. Okay, I like that. And anywhere you see that you might need a little more glue, put it under there, but just very delicately. Now, if you don't have a punch die like this, you can just put a plain circle frame or, you know, whatever you have in your stash that you can cut. Maybe you even actually have a frame. You could use a real frame, you know, that's lifted up that you purchased. A purchase frame would work too. So I love how that looks. Move that up on the Cheshire Cat a little bit. There we go. Okay. Pretty. I just think that just really makes the whole scene. And then, of course, we're going to be adding probably some flowers. These little images are so cute. So the flowers will probably have to be up here on this one. And I'm going to tie in more things here. See what else I've got to really decorate this up. And we'll tie lace here on this side. So see what we've got in here. I've got some lace with little flowers I like. So I'm going to, and they're more of a cream color, kind of a white cream, but they're still white. They're white enough. And I'm going to just tie the lace around the bow, pull it as tight as I can, just like that. And then take my scissors, whoops, and cut off a piece of that. Okay. And then I do like to use a little safety pin in there to kind of secure that. But I'm also going to go look for a charm or something like I did have. Maybe we'll use another teacup. That might be cute. And with that, the other one I had a little frame. So let's flip this. And I know I'm using silver and gold. And I'm fine with that. I don't fussy up about that a whole lot. But I am going to try to secure this. Am I still on camera, I hope? Go in, do the knot of my lace, and then out. And then latch the little safety pin. So we've got that hanging there. A little bit of that. And I would like some really thin satin ribbon. I have to see what I've got. Oh, let's pull that a little tighter. There we go. That's better on that. So that one needs trimmed maybe just a little bit. Okay, so I'm going to pause again and see what all else I can find to add into this to kind of, lighten it up. I'm going to tie some more of this black in there. So that just goes in underneath it all. So you just play with it. If you don't like it, well, you cut it off and try something else. Pull that really tight. Now with this string, I'm going to tie a knot in each end. And clip that off. Make them about the same length. Okay, so we got that in there. So I do need some kind of thin lace or ribbon that I can add in there some more. Go see what I've got. Could be a different color. Could be yellow. Could be a little bit of kind of a pink color. Let's see what I've got. I hope I've got something in my stash. I really like to do things with what I have in my stash and not have to go buy new stuff. I just like to use what I've got, and then I add to my stash as I see things. So put you on pause, and I'm going to go look and see what other kind of ribbons and laces I might have. So I found some ribbon in my stash, and you should see the other side of my room. It is a total disaster zone over there. When I start digging stuff out, oh my goodness. So I found this really pretty white with the pink dots I like, and this very pale pink. It almost looks white in the camera, but trust me, it's a really pale pink. So let's see what the dotted one looks like. We're going to thread that one in and bring it up and tie that. So you just keep building in there with it and pull it really tight. It all will fit in. Very pretty. Okay, just like that. So I like that, and I'm going to tie it in a knot on the end to kind of finish it off. About just kind of look at it and see how long you want it, and save the other bits for your tags. So I think that makes it kind of whimsical. Yeah, whimsical. Okay. Sometimes I get tongue-tied there. I can't say it right. Okay. Wow, this is a really cute story in this little golden book. I read it. Make sure I had it all in order. So then I'm going to take the pink one too. The pale, pale pink. I think my favorite part in designing is the decorating like this. I just really, really enjoy it, and I can spend hours, truthfully, finding stuff for it and adding it in and just making it so, so different and pretty. So I really enjoy that. So just, have fun with it. Don't fret over it. It's unique to you, what you like. Just keep adding. It's okay. So there's that. We've got a bunch of stuff there. We've got the little teacup hanging there. We like that. But now we're not done. We're going to add some flowers. I'm using some of my ribbon rolls to keep my cover flat so I can glue things down. So in my design team package, I did have a pack of the Prima flowers. I don't see a name on it. If it's still available at Country Craft Creations, I'll give you the link. I'm just using a small flower out of it for now. And then I also had 49 in Market's Rustic Bouquet and the Blue Jay. I'm going to use the small ones of it as well. I don't think I need the greenery. So I do this with my glue. Oh, and I had this pretty kind of off-white floral flower ribbon, and I cut one off, and I'm going to start with it. I'm going to put one right here on the side. So I just squeeze out a bunch of glue. The reason I like to use art glitter glue is because I can rearrange before it's completely set. And once it's set, it's there. It's not going anywhere. So then this really dark blue I thought looked really good with that cover. And I'm going to put it right on top of that lacy one. I think that would be pretty. Okay. Just kind of like that. Oh, and then I did want to use the white. Was the white? Oh, the pink one's the one I wanted in the middle. So take that glue off. And that's why I like to use art glitter glue, because I can change it right quick. So that one's going. Yeah, that was the one there. And then this dark one, I believe I had to the side of it, right in here. So stick that down, kind of overlapping the pink one. We don't want them spaced out. We want them to look natural, like they're growing that way. And then I turn it so that the head of the Mad Hatter is showing. Okay, then we have a little blue one here. And you have to have patience with all this. You got to let it all dry, and some of your glue, it's going to ooze out, and that's okay. I will wipe that off. It's not going to hurt that cover at all, and it dries clear, but there, like that, okay? I get them all bunched up, and once they set, I can start squishing them in a little bit more. So then I had this blue one, I think was like this. So pretty. Mixing different brands of flowers. Okay, there's that. I'm going to take, see if I have enough of this pink or not. Maybe to make part of a bow. Oops. Just tie up a bow by wrapping it around your fingers, and then if you can get it from coming undone, just wrap it around itself in there and tie a knot just like that. Cut that off. I'm going to try to glue this down in there somewhere. Grab the ends of it maybe like this. And it's going to tuck in kind of like that. So I'm going to put a glob of glue right in there. And we're going to see if I can get this to stay like this. Okay, I'm not going to mess with it or any of the loops or anything just yet. I'm going to let that dry. So you let it dry, and then you can kind of play with it then. And then I wanted some of the black. Pull that off. Same way. So let me show you how I do that. Take my two fingers like this, have a tail, wrap around, and I weave in and out. You don't have to, but I do. That's just the way I learned, and I like it. Take the tail between the V of your fingers, pull it to the back. See that loop part there you just made? Bring it through it and pull it up tight. Take the other tail, and then I like to secure it by tying one more knot. Right there. Okay, so there's that one. And the same thing, I'm going to just kind of fold it in half. So there's a knot right there. And I'm going to poke it in somewhere right in here. So I'll put glue on it. And just kind of underneath this big blue flower, just kind of tuck it in. And then I'm going to let that dry. So I've got to let all that dry for a bit. But I love how it's turning out. We're going to add some flowers over here too. So while that's drying, I'm going to go ahead and do a few flowers over here. So I like this big blue one here. And I'm going to put a bunch of glue on it because I'm gluing it down in onto the knot of the ribbon. So it's got to kind of sit there like that. Okay. Then I have a dark blue. Want that in there or not? I'm going to see if I can get it to stay. Lots of glue, just kind of underneath the big flower, just right there on the side. Okay, I'm going to let those dry until I decide if I'm going to add a few more. I think that's really pretty. Okay, we're going to let that dry. Sorry about the glare. On the other book, I did use some flat enamel dots. I'm going to go to my stash, see what I got. I may have to use pearls or something. I just thought those are really pretty to add in here. Now this one I did put flowers down here at the top and bottom. I don't think I'm going to on this one. I think I'm going to leave it the way it is and put the flowers in the middle. So just kind of change it up just a tiny bit. So I'm going to pause and I'm going to go see if I've got some gems that I can add to the cover. Okay, so I found these in my stash and I think the two together might look really good. So this is what I'm going to go with. Okay, so I want to put some here in the top corner. Let me clean off my glue tip first. So 1, 2, 3. Where's my small scissors? I like to use scissors to put them down. There's a big one here. Well, they've been stuck for a while. I think these are old ones. But the color is so pretty. And then there's a little pale pink, which is a different shape. Whoop. 1, 2. And then maybe a medium one of these. Okay, I like that. Now, glue oozes out a little bit, and I don't worry about it. I just kind of clean it off. It dries clear. But if there's a lot of it, I kind of wipe it off. Well, that one I'm making more of a mess. Okay, there we go. Then if I put some down here, I'm going to do 1, 2, 3. Okay. same pattern, the big one. There. One of these. Well, it doesn't want to come off. Come on. Very sticky. There it goes. I've got glue everywhere on that one. Okay. Clean that off. And one more of these. Okay. So I think that pretty much is going to finish up the cover and let everything dry. And you know what? I just noticed this is a moon. It looks like a moon to me. The moon goes with it. I'm fine. Yeah, I like how it turned out. So I think that's enough on that. I'll do the inside cover next and paper on the back inside cover to finish all that off. And then I'll be ending the tutorial after that, and we'll do my inserts and tags and different decorating on the inside off camera, and then we'll do a walkthrough on this one when all that's done. So so I'll let this dry, and then we'll finish it up in just a bit. I've been busy decorating all the different pockets and some of the pages in my junk journal, and I will show you all that in a walkthrough, but I did want to show you real quick what I decided to do on the back cover on the inside. I just have a few more things to do over here, and then it will be done. So anyway, I decided to cover the inside back cover with this piece, which kind of goes with this spine section here. So I cut this one to 6 wide by 7 7/8 tall, and I'm going to glue that right there on the inside cover. I just kind of like to finish this part off and decided to do it a little bit different than I did the Peter Rabbit one. So I'm going to put a full sheet of pattern paper. Of course, if you like the little golden book list of books, then you certainly could just leave yours like this, if that's what you wanted. But I'm going to cover this up here, kind of finish up my book with this. Okay, and burnish that down. Okay, and I also took some ballerina pink, my colors, cardstock, stitched around it. And then I glued these tuck spots here that I fussy cut out of the tags. This is the hat, the Mad Hatter's hat, I'm late, and tea time. And then that's going to glue right about there. Okay, so I'm going to put the glue on the back of this. And this card, my colors cardstock, was the thicker, which I didn't realize, and I had a hard time stitching. I had to go to the bigger stitching after I started. So I have photo mats cut, but I'm not real sure if I'm going to be able to stitch on them or not. So we'll see. So I did that, and then I thought I would do maybe a belly band here, because I just think, you know, like if I want to stick something under there, I don't know. I just like the decorating of it. So I'm going to put glue on each end and just kind of line this and make sure I'm staying out of the fold. And put that right there and right there, attach it down. So I can slide something in there if I want to. And then I was going to finish this up with a couple of the little flowers. If I want them all on one end or the other. Let's see here. Cut some of this off where it's sticking up. Kind of make it a little more flush. Okay. Put this one here. And then this one I think I'll put down here. Okay, so that finishes up the inside of the cover. And like I said, I have a few more things I want to do. I'm going to decide about stitching these photo mats and then see what else I've got, maybe some tags to make. And then I will be done with this little junk journal and can get the tutorial uploaded for you. So stay tuned. I will go over at the end exactly what I've done and let you know that it is finished. It's finished. I got all my tags and decorating done in this super adorable Alice in Wonderland junk journal. I'm excited to have it finished and to start uploading the tutorial video here for you. I will have a separate walkthrough of this so that you can see all the details, but pretty much I showed you how to decorate in the tutorial. Just do your own thing. Your decorating will be a little bit different than mine based on what you have in your stash. Just make different pretty clusters of flowers and lace like that. Of course, we have the story pages. And like I said, I added tags in, cut aparts from the collection, made big photo mats. So it is a lot of fun to decorate a junk journal. So I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial. Do check back or look on my channel for the walkthrough of this one, as well as the Peter Rabbit. Both are made the same. They just look different based on the elements I use to decorate. So again, thank you so much for following along on this tutorial. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you have any questions, leave me a comment down below. Make sure you follow and also shop at countrycraftcreations.com. And if you haven't already, subscribe to my channel and click on the bell so that you'll be notified of my next projects. I'll be working on something else real soon. I think I'll be working on another little Alice project because I have a lot of that paper left. And give me a thumbs up and check back with me later. Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.